Subscribe to Morris TVGH.
Partnership or relationship began under the stewardship of Mr. Osameya, and we want to continue this afternoon to reintroduce ourselves, to re-engage, and to deepen the relationship between the two institutions. Let me commend the NLA for some new innovations under the leadership of Mr. Uku. We are all aware of the NLA Caritas platform, which deals with corporate Ghana promotions. I think this is a good initiative under his watch and must be commended as the fourth estate of the realm, or as the media who holds the platform to communicate and inform the public. And Mr. DG, this is commendable. Again, one of the good initiatives introduced into your Zoom post has been the NLA Good Causes Foundation, which is also seen to be transforming lives, supporting innocent Ghanaians, even brilliant students who need support in terms of education. And I think that this is also commendable. We are here this afternoon, as my secretary did, to introduce the new executive of the association, the new Jumfuo administration, to which I lead, to your good self and your management team, to see how we can collaborate to do some mass public education on lottery games, to see how we can institute or set up media platforms on lotto operations, its management and regulation. Most often than not, we hear of a lot of games, a lot of operations. In fact, I don't know whether there's a conflict between the Gaming Commission and the NLA, because we don't know which one falls under NLA, which one falls under the Gaming Commission. I think DG will have to throw more light. There's more reason why the team is here with our distinguished reporters. We also want to call on you to institute sponsorship scholarship scheme for journalists, just like the GMPC educational scheme, and support awards category under your NLA Good Causes Foundation and your corporate social responsibility. We will urge that you also consider recruiting journalists into NLA to manage, support your corporate affairs department, the able team, the able corporate affairs department, to manage your public relations, public reactions. In fact, sometimes the reactions out there tells that people do not even understand the work of the NLA. All we used to hear, or all we know, is that under our account, local dialect, as I say, Chacha Bisa, Chacha, that's the notion. How do we break it down to the understanding of the people to know what NLA is doing in support of the state, or even to create some revenue for the state, and the benefit the ordinary Ghanaian also are. We also want to encourage GJA representatives on your internal committees and projects. That because we need to tell the stories. Whatever you are doing internally must be out there. So with this, at least we will have our rep who will help us inform the ordinary Ghanaian citizens on what is happening internally. Again, how do we establish or develop and strengthen public sector collaboration? A case of NLA and GJA is also one of our core mission here. We would like to NLA to consider GJA partner us in various activities to drive home strong business environment and revenue. The GJA appreciates the enormous benefits of partnership of these two institutions, and we want to fall on your good self as the leader and as the DG now to continue with this partnership and deepening our relationship and to explore opportunities on both sides. We can also cooperate in various institutional level activities for mutual benefit. I know that there's a few objects or maybe few requests would not fall on a deaf ear.
Delight to watch how you cover your own elections. And I was a keen follower of the events leading to your elections. And I just said to myself, nowhere cool. But in spite of the various obstacles, that of court injunctions, that of postponement and adjournment, and rescheduling of the processes, eventually the Ghanaian journalists repose their trust and confidence in you. Together with the team, the treasurer, the secretary, the organizing secretary, that reminds me of my previous role I held somewhere. And then Madam as well, the public affairs Madam, and the editor-in-chief for the state broadcaster. It's also clear that the processes now, you've exhausted them. And that is why you've been duly elected and sworn in as president of the Ghanaian journalist body. I have known you not today, and I'm happy you won. I'm happy you won for two good reasons. You are very forceful. You are very aggressive, and I pray that the same spirit that you hold in the private sector, you and the team will drive the concerns, the welfare, and the interest of journalists as a whole. So you are all welcome to the NLA. I've also taken notice of the various requests made, and definitely we'll be coming to you bit by bit on how we can exhaust the list. I've also been lucky to have trained journalists also with me from the corporate affairs team. Judith and Keswa, they are in your industry and they were in your industry. Keswa used to be with Metro, and Judith too has been a product of the even GJA and was also with Charter House. We compliment their effort by also speaking. Let me start by talking about how we can deepen the ties between the GJA and that of the NLA. We believe we are in this together. When our business grows, we should have the opportunity and the luxury to support many of the things that you do. We've had our fair share of challenges too as a team and as a body. We have some unscrupulous people hiding behind the social media and that of the electronic media to spew a lot of untruth about the activities of the NLA. Today you will there and people will add you to a WhatsApp platform and they tell you they can give you winning numbers. Mr. President, what will even sadden your heart is, me as Director General, I have some of them telling me they will give me winning numbers. It shows the reckless bravery with which that they act. But that notwithstanding, I believe that we can collaborate with you in the elimination of these scammers. The security apparatus, they are doing wonderful in terms of their partnership with us, together with the National Communications Authority and that of the National Media Commission. Let me state that over the last few months, we've had the unfortunate experience of reporting some of your colleagues to the National Media Commission for deliberately airing programs where they sought to appeal to the public that there are some winning numbers that they can give them during phone-in programs.
So I can say false publication.
False publication. And being a friend of the media, instead of going to court, the NLA decided that we will proceed to the National Media Commission. Subsequently, they apologize and then they go back to their old business. So last 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks ago, we had to write again to the National Media Commission to report some of the stations and their activities. We believe that the GJA, this regulatory body cannot rest just on the shoulders of the National Media Commission. Especially as an association, I believe that it is unfair when you have a state agency doing so well to help raise or increase revenue, and they become a target of the same media that we seek to support. That cannot be true journalism. That clearly is yellow journalism. So these are some of the things and the concerns that we've had, especially in our activities with the media. Let me also reiterate that we are 100% aligned to your vision and that of the collective executive body in supporting the GJA with their programs. As part of our, let me thank you as well for commending the NLA on some of these great initiatives we have. For instance, the Caritas was launched in 2012, but then it faced some years of decline. So when I assumed office as Director General, we had to relaunch the Caritas platform to strengthen our engagement with corporate Ghana. Anybody who seeks to run a game of chance, raffles or promotion is clearly within the order of the National Lottery Authority. So if you hear somebody saying, oh, as part of our promotions, we are giving our customers this, or we are giving out a vehicle as part of this, our promotion, and anything that has to do with an element of chance is within the domain of the NLA. And as per the Act 722, we have the monopoly, the powers and the supervision and the supervisory role to regulate, to conduct and operate lottery in Ghana. Anybody who seeks to do so is operating on behalf of the NLA. Sometimes our activities also conflict, or it seems to conflict with the Gaming Commission, which comes under Act 721. When it has to do with an element of skill, you fall under the gaming. But it's been a bit confusing lately. Currently, we are before the Attorney General, and I wouldn't like to preempt their opinion and decision, which they will give next week on the 9th of August. And we believe that per the facts before them and the case the NLA has made, they will settle the matter once and for all, so that these two state institutions can operate side by side, raise revenue for the state, and to also support. What makes our activities much more deeper is that the NLA, per the Act 722, we are supposed to raise revenue, create moments of happiness and hope for the nation. And then again, after we've paid ourselves or paid our operational costs and prizes out of it, the NLA is expected to also contribute into the consolidated fund. And when we are done, the NLA is enjoined by the Act 722 to also, in consultation with our mother ministry or minister, that is from the Ministry of Finance and our board, operate a special lottery with the sole object of raising funds and revenue to support the destitute, the poor, the orphans, the widows, the physically and the mentally afflicted. And in our act, they term it as good causes. We have expanded that good causes to also mean that we should be able to support in the area of health, in the area of education, in the area of youth and sports development, arts and culture. But now that GJ, you've also added your version to it, it's only fair that the NLA should, as a matter of conscience and looking at our long-term friendship and relationship, introduce an element in it which we can use to support journalists. Mr. President, elsewhere, proceeds of lottery was used to build the Great Wall of China. The city of Miami in the United States greater percentage of it was built from the proceeds of the American lottery. If you go to the United Kingdom, they finance their entire Olympic Games through the Camelot. That's the proceeds from their lottery. And it's done fantastic for many nations. What we have faced here in Ghana is the sector has been largely informal. And so people run away from their civic responsibility of paying the taxes through the games that they play. We are now going frontal on these people and asking that if you want to operate lottery, either come to the NLA so that we license you to operate on our behalf, or we don't let you exist, because the Act 722 gives us those powers. It hasn't been an easy journey coming face to face with the illegals. In Jamaica, they call them the underground operators. If some of our African countries, they've been successful in eliminating the activities of these illegals. I always use our next door neighbor, Ivory Coast, as an example. They reduced the activities of the illegals from 80% that existed in 2012. 80% of the sector was reduced it to 20% or less. In fact, way lower. In Ghana, 70% of the market is still in the hands of the illegals. And it hasn't been an easy battle trying to take back what belongs to the state. Whereas Ivory Coast on daily basis make about $1.6 million now, we make about $80,000 a day. If you go to Nigeria, they are making about $3.2 million a day, and then we are making just about $80,000. So clearly, we have a challenge, and when our voice is amplified by the media, and the media also makes a case on the fact that the NLA must be supported in ridding our system of the activities of these illegals. I think that the more we generate revenue, the more we are able to support some of these projects and activities we are talking about. On the issue of the scholarship, I think it's fair. I'll speak to our Good Causes Foundation and our corporate affairs people who are more or less your ambassadors here to see what we can come up with as a yearly scheme or allocation. Then you will do a drawdown and say, okay, this is how we want to. If that X amount, when we set aside, you want to use it to sponsor one person, it will be your call. If that X amount, you want to use it to sponsor 20 people that year, it's also your call. And we have many collaborations with other agencies of state. And so it's not when that my very good friend and brother, we have a nickname that we share together. And I know that we should be able to do a good job. Again, when we are expanding as an authority, and definitely when the need arises for corporate affairs to also get in more members from your profession. I think currently you have about 3 journalists there. Judith, with Castro and the 2 of you. Oh, they are all.
No, don't count national service. National service is not count. Don't count national service.
They are hoping to be employed.
Ghana is being expanded from 10 regions. We have 16 regions.
So Mr. President, as we expand, and definitely our PR and communication will also have to go far, and we will seek to also get you and your team involved. NLA's benefit to the public is huge. Currently, when government launched its Youth Start program, the NLA was the first institution to make a cash down of 10 million cedis to support this entrepreneurship program of government. Again, we've also supported the military. That's the Veterans Administration Ghana. I'm sure you saw some soldiers here when you came because you operate their lottery for them, the VAG. And aside that, we also do our part of the deal as part of Good Causes to support them in the area of their medical, in the area of other services, where they also lean on the NLA as part of our operations and our commitment to them. We're currently looking at doing some things in the sports sector with the sports bodies, and we've been doing quite some few things, sponsoring the 2 glamorous clubs over the last season and a whole lot of others. So yes, we are grateful for your visit. It is our hope and prayer that through you and through your leadership, you'll be able to expand the frontiers of our free speech and that of our journalism. And I hope and pray that you and your executives too will not just be an elitist executive, but executives that listens to the concerns of the very people that you lead. I'll leave you by saying that you're only a leader when you turn and your people are still following you. The moment you turn and they are no longer following you, then you are taking a walk. You are not leading them. And do also an introspection as an association. So that's the occurrences that led to the postponement of your elections and disagreement can also be resolved. I was happy that you decided not to shed more light when it had to do with the media. So it's like a cult. But if it was a smaller political party or a bigger political party that faces issues, it becomes the headline almost at 6 a.m. or 12 noon. So we are grateful that you are here with us. I am committed to partnering the NLA, so the GJA, so will be my team as well.
Please subscribe to Morris TVGH.